Dear people of Ambazonia, my fellow brave warriors of our liberation movement, accept liberation greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro. This day is Wednesday, the 24th day of April in the year 2024. And I'm delighted to be here once more for us to have yet another slot in our series of very important educative that's education sensitization and of course information sharing. This is why I'm here, and this is why I'm delighted that I'm able to make it to the studio today, that we have this very important conversation at a time when things are getting so tight and it's getting increasingly difficult to aside time every day. I'll keep doing my best as much as I can to be here so that we continue to share this vital education that we all need to take us to where we intend to go to. So, my dear people, I like to, welcome each and every one of you that has set aside time to be part of this platform today at this very late hour, especially on Ground Zero, to be part of this very important broadcast. If you're just joining, of course, because we're just starting, I'd like you to share the link as much as you can, because we need to get the people of Ambazonia to come here and hear for themselves and listen and be able to watch for themselves and understand what we have been talking about here all along. I have said here too many times, from experience working with the government of La République du Cameroon and working with all these evil people for almost 2 decades, I've grown to know each and every one of them. And that is why I've said here 1,001 times, there is no need to ever bother yourself to think you can discuss, go into any form of negotiations with the people whose minds and hearts are simply full of evil. At the time they are not feeling totally subdued, at the time they are not feeling completely helpless. Folks, La République du Cameroon has never been our friends. But worse, those among us who have decided to sell their souls to La République du Cameroon in exchange for a few pennies, they are worse than La République du Cameroon citizens and government. They are worse than the French government that is sponsoring this genocidal war in Ambazonia. They are more cancerous than each of these people. Why? Because we keep deceiving ourselves that no, there are people one day they'll have a change of mind, or no, there are people that are just held down by circumstances, or no, there are people it's just that they are playing, under the tables and all of those things to see that we push our liberation movement forward. When the freedom comes, they will change. No, listen, folks. There are some of these people who are who they are. That's why sometimes I don't hesitate saying, when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. When someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. When someone tells you that I am a fraud, believe them to be a fraud. When someone tells you, I will go to every end to ensure that we attain our objective, watch their actions. True that you should begin by believing them. But folks, let me say this. People who have decided that they are ready to walk on the blood of their folks, to walk on the dead bodies of their people to get to power will never change, no matter what you do to them. This is a crop of people that don't deserve to be part of any governing apparatus in the free southern Cameroons. I know that I appear to be talking in riddles, but the truth is the situation is so serious and so grave because these instances abound. And I have been here on this platform since 2018, warning, educating our people about this, reminding our people that these things will happen. And I keep saying exactly where the planning took place and how the whole demonic arrangements were designed. But trust me, one thing is certain. Whether they like it or not, we will be free. So while I give you a few seconds to share this link, let me, let's have a few seconds to revel in some good airs with our sisters from Manu County in Amazonia. Sure, we all had a good time. I mean, I was shaking my head and I was really excited as I was telling myself, finally, I did get, some of these airs from the Southern Zone I've been looking for. So if you watched it, if you enjoyed it, I like a lot more on Mitigated, simply traditional dances from, the Southern Zone, from the Forest Zone of Amazonia unmitigated, even when you are having your knockdown whatsoever, or you are having your traditional ceremonies anywhere in Europe and you danced it, please send me the raw videos. I really love to have them. Of course, we should be showcasing our beautiful, I mean, very enviable culture to the rest of the world. That said, folks, I like us to see, because you see, all the evil that is going on in Amazonia is at the behest of some people. And you look at the nature of the people for whom we are being killed, the nature of the people for whom we are being slaughtered. You ask yourself, if some knots or some screws have gone off the heads of those southern Cameroonians who are serving in the military of La République du Cameroon. Take a look at this gentleman. This is Paul Biya. Just take a careful look at him. This man has all the money you can imagine in the world that he can use to transform himself into anything. But you can see he has reached this stage. In Moramo, I want to use a colloquial expression. In Moramo, they'll look at him and say, well, for Bomo. When they say, well, for Bomo, it's like when you take maize, you have hidden it somewhere, then weevils come into it and they didn't really see, create some other things. This is exactly what this is now. So this tells you that this is someone whose future had long been behind him, long ago, but who has decided to hang around just to make sure he guarantees that you and I, our children and our children's children, will never have a future. It will shock you to imagine that I, Bakuro, speaking here, I will be celebrating 50 on November 11th. I was in primary 4, when Mr. Paul Biya became president in the Republic of Cameroon. That's in 1982. I was in primary 4 when Paul Biya became president. This tells you that if I stayed on my job and was following the old regime of retirement at 55, I will be 6 years away from retirement while Paul Biya is still president in that country, still unleashing all the evil that is unleashing and extending it to our people in Amazonia. This tells you that I've gone on retirement, I'll be getting ready to go on retirement while he's still there. It's not a kingdom. These are those faces of evil that anytime we see, it should remind us that we have an arduous task, to have an arduous task before us. The task to kick out La République du Cameroon and these kinds of fossils from our land. It doesn't resemble us. And the unfortunate thing is that to perpetuate themselves in power and to maintain their stay over our land, they have not been shy in using the church. They have not been shy. I mean, they have never been shy, even for 1 second, in using the church. Because first thing, they go to church, you will see Mr. Paul Biya on his knees taking communion. You imagine a very pious fellow. At that moment, you think, I can even carry the Holy Ghost and give to this man. But you turn around and see how he sends dogs to slaughter our children, slaughter our mothers, rape our wives, rape our sisters, burn down our homes, burn even handicapped and old vulnerable persons in their homes without even the least remorse. Next to him, Ferdinand Gongo. You look at that. According to the faces of evil, the hypocritical forces that create all the confusion and all the aids in our land. And like I said, they take refuge behind the church. Because in La République du Cameroon, they are playing with two things today. They are playing either with the church or with football. Because they say these components constitute the opium of the masses. I'm not talking about the alcohol that they are making available right into hospital bedrooms. Yes, right into hospital bedrooms. That means on the bed where people are sick sleeping in hospital, not in hospital canteens, in hospital wards. Those are those faces. Those are the faces. And you are on our land, they are telling you go and register for elections. Go and register. Which elections? We have said we don't want to have anything to do with La République du Cameroon. There was a time we cared. But when we cared, we noticed that democracy doesn't mean a thing to them. La République du Cameroon does not believe in democracy. No. Otherwise, they would ever have been doing things different. Rather, we are a people who demonstrated beyond reasonable doubt to the entire world way back in the 1950s that you could have a functional democracy in Black Africa. Yes. That's why we remain the only country at that time, and perhaps right up to the 90s, where a sitting government, an incumbent government, organized elections and lost and handed over to the opposition. It happened in southern Cameroon between 1954 and 1959, and effective 1959. But with the arrival of La République du Cameroon in 1961, everything changed. And today, this is the kind of foresight. This one. This is the kind of foresight who is the chairman of the Constitutional Council in La République du Cameroon. That is the foresight. They call him Clément Tangana. That is the chairman of the Constitutional Council in La République du Cameroon. The one who will sit and decide the fate of elections, that is him. He can't even move. He doesn't even know a lot of the times where he is to. And they're coming to tell you, bloody kill yourselves, because you need to register for elections that will be decided by this kind of person. My people of Amazonia, I get very emotional and angry when I notice that there are still some people in our land who don't get it. That there are still some people in our land, in the southern Cameroons, who still believe that something can ever come out of La République du Cameroon. I like you watching me, if you're based abroad, based even on ground zero, based anywhere else in the world. Can you tell me the last time you sat and got good news coming back from that country? Name one moment. If you don't get them in the morning and they say 16 people have been killed by a motor accident on the road to Kumba, You want to go to bed in the night, they tell you, oh, a truck bashed into a bus with school children in Victoria and killed so many school children. Or you want to go to sleep, they say, oh, the police, cut somebody, bug the person, beat the person to pulp on the road in the streets with their uniform. Say, this is unacceptable. You want to get them in the morning, they tell you, oh, they have gone and killed a journalist somewhere and mutilated, and they even sodomized, they did all kinds of things to his body. You want to turn around. They say, oh, several young children have disappeared. They've went and found their bodies dead somewhere. They have removed vital human organs and all of those things. You want to get them in the morning and say, oh, a scandal. 600 million has just been stolen from a minister's house in cash. You want to say, but this is too much now. They tell you that no, you haven't heard anything. Almost 4 billion was stolen in cash in the house of the director of civil cabinet at the presidency of the republic. You say, but what's going on? As if you have heard until you are choking. You say, no, let me get some water to drain this down. They tell you that, don't worry. The director general, that's the boss of the country's secret service, that's the intelligence community, the boss of the intelligence community, had placed himself at the service of a near illiterate called Amugo Bellinga. You say, oh my goodness, can this be happening? That is the kind of country we never ever ask the United Nations to, for any reason in the world, get us unevenly yoked with this manner of people. My people of Amazonia, the package I'm about to open is very important. That's why when I look at our numbers, I think we give a few people about a minute again before we open this very important package. This is why I will go back to our sisters and let's have some little relax for about 30 seconds again. Then we'll move into the beef of our discussion. Always a lot of fun watching our people do what they know how to do best. So we get into the beef of our discussion. My people of Amazonia, we all woke up on the 11th of February this year to news of a massive explosion in Nkambe, the chief town of Donga and Mantung, which wreaked enormous havoc. At the end of the day, 3 people, I understand, were finally confirmed dead, and scores of them were mutilated. Scores of them lost either their sight, lost either both limbs, lost either an arm, lost or a leg. I mean, a lot of them, scores of them. Nobody in Nkambe will ever forget this day. It was a horrible day. It was a day of pain. And when this went on, immediately, the propaganda machinery of La République du Cameroon, boom, separatists have done it again. Those pro-independence people have killed our children. They have killed our people. They have come and set, IEDs, improvised electronic devices at locations where they knew civilians were going to be affected. The curious thing about that attack was that it affected, those things were strategically placed mainly where it would affect civilians, mostly civilians. It wasn't placed where the military would do their parades and all of those things. And the purpose of it was clear. I cried foul at that time. I said, we have warned our people, don't go out on such occasions. Especially because, I've always mentioned, La République du Cameroon, using their apparatchiks, using their evil connections in our midst, always use such occasions to try and darken the image of our liberation movement by claiming that we are not different from Boko Haram, by carrying out evil acts on the civilian population to try and tell the rest of the world that we are terrorists. Because they fought with all their might from 2017 to this day to tell the global community, to tag the word terrorist on us before the global community, and it has not worked. But they have never stopped trying. The devil never stops trying. They will keep trying. So they unleashed this carnage on the people in Nkambe for this specific reason. While I came out here to cry foul that La République du Cameroon knew exactly what had happened, we unfortunately have some misguided people in our midst who are always quick because they seek notoriety, because they seek leadership, because they seek claiming that they are doing a lot of wonderful things, sometimes that they are not doing. They rushed to claim the action. Today, the truth is spilling out. The truth is coming out. Take a look at this. You see, this post is not from me. This post is from Mimi Mefo Info. And when you see it, of course we know Mimi is not reporting things that or whatsoever. Of course, she's reporting the news. So she said, Nkambe nightmare, vigilante group behind 11 February bombing, although she asks a question. But the body of the article tells you beyond reasonable doubt because names are called of people who are involved. And the names that are called in this article are actually names of members of Mr. Musa Nfor. Mr. Musa Nfor. That is Musa Nfor that you see on my screen there. Musa Nfor. The man who became very, very infamous for coming over and destroying the Cameroon Cooperative Credit Union League, CAMCU. He fragmented CAMCU, allowed the Yaoundé regime to use him to try and weaken the credit union system that was and is still the mainstay of our land. Because all banking institutions that citizens of the southern Cameroons have founded and floated and brought up to prosperity were either all destroyed or confiscated by all means by La République du Cameroon. I've mentioned Amity Bank and I've mentioned National Financial Credit. I'm also mentioning Union Bank of Cameroon, whose takeover is happening under the watch of this same Musa Nfor. Musa Nfor today says he's a mayor in Nkambe. Among those captured, among those who are confessing to this hideous crime, is even his bodyguard who has escaped. Among those confessing are members of the vigilante group, one of whom is his bodyguard. His bodyguard hasn't been apprehended yet. He escaped apprehension. He escaped because he heard that they were finally after him, that his cover had been blown. Musa Nfor, alongside Gerald, Ngala. This is Gerald Ngala here. These are the faces behind the evil machinery that unleashed carnage and pain on our people in Donga Mantung. I'm urging Amazonians, urging Southern Cameroonians, wherever you are, capture these pictures, attach them to these stories, tweet and tweet and tweet until you can tweet no more. Because Mr. Ngala Gerald, while he sponsors the genocide on our people in the Southern Cameroons, constantly takes his holiday in the United States of America. Mr. Gerald Ngala, constantly. We should flood Twitter. We should flood the U.S. Department of State. We should flood the U.S. Department of Homeland Security with this information and his pictures. Let the world know that these are the people who move around and deceive our people on ground zero, claiming they are fighting for them, whereas at the same time, they are organizing their killing for benefits. And I explain very easily, very quickly, what the expected benefit is. Why do you see that story? This is what the article says, because I'm going to some details to say, I'm going just to where those names are. It said, investigation into these incidents have led to the apprehension of collaborators of the administration posing as members of the vigilante groups. The article says, a reliable source within the security apparatus in Nkambe, speaking on condition of anonymity, disclosed Sebastien, a notorious figure within the vigilante group known as SAR, was apprehended by the National Gendarmerie along with Kyo Ernest from Tabiken. Sebastien was found in possession of an AK-47 rifle and a significant amount of money. Now, he was found with an AK-47 rifle and a significant amount of money. Don't forget that even when La République du Cameroun organizes those so-called vigilante groups with the help of some of this bought-over evil elite, they don't give them guns. They give them other things except guns because they don't even trust them too. They fear that they can turn this on them, so they don't give them. But when they found Kyo Ernest from Tabiken and Sebastien in possession of an AK-47 rifle with a significant amount of money, it raised questions. Questions. Listen, I'll pause here a bit and I'll give you some footage. Do you recall that on that fateful day, or on the eve of that fateful day, that February 11, 2024, a certain Ngala Gerald, whose picture I just showed there, who passes around for a member of parliament. Of course, our people did not go for elections. The same one, Ngala Gerald, who passes around for a member of parliament, was out there in all of Nkambe local government area sharing money. Here he is. The person you find on that image sharing money is no other than Ngala Gerald. This was on the eve of February 11, luring the people in their numbers to show up there so that the effect of the evil they were going to perpetrate should be felt, should be total, should be maximum. In another footage, which unfortunately I was not able to lay hands on right now, but I'll bring it here in my next broadcast, this same Ngala Gerald is presented with Musa and Shey for his accomplice, showing a briefcase with money that he said was about 50 million CFA francs. And he said that money was meant to share to the people so they should go and participate in these celebrations. Celebrations that for some of them were going to be the last time that they were being alive. Celebrations that for some of them was going to be the last time that they will ever walk straight. Celebrations that for some of them will be the last time that they will ever use their hands again. Folks, take a look at this. Those are school children in Nkambe running helter-skelter from explosions planted at the behest of someone who says he is their member of parliament. Those are school children, I said, running helter-skelter from explosions planted, and the same people came out. I recall this Ngala Gerald was on television, condemning, swearing, and threatening how he would deal with Ambazonians, how he would deal with Amba. Ngala Gerald's bodyguard too is on the run, who's also a member of the vigilante. Don't forget, these vigilantes were formed. That group was formed. It's not just one, there are many in Nkambe, local government area. They were formed and financed by Ngala Gerald along with Musa Nfor. This is what the story says. It says a reliable source within the security apparatus in Nkambe, speaking on condition of anonymity, disclosed Sebastien, a notorious figure within the vigilante group known as SAR, was apprehended by the National Gendarmerie along with Kyo Ernest of Tabeken, and says Sebastien was found in the possession of an AK-47 rifle and a significant amount of money. The detained duo confessed to various crimes, including involvement in the bombing in Nkambe. They were specific. However, several others implicated by the detainees remain at large. And it says, according to confirmed reports, they include Marvin Aloma, Kabiru, Ayuba, and Tamfu Jute. Ngum, also known as Paja in Tabiken, allegedly involved in dubious dealings with members of the vigilante group, has also fled. Marvin Aloma, reportedly a former Ambazonian combatant and the mayor of Nkambe's bodyguard, along with Tamfu, a close associate of Nkambe's member of parliament, Ngala Gerald, are among those evading capture. Now listen, folks. I met Ngala Gerald in one social media forum. And when I raised the heat on this fellow, called him out for his evil actions on Ground Zero, he said he was in total control of all the foot soldiers in Nkambe local government area, and he ran away from the forum. He exited that forum. It is the same thing with this other face of evil, Musa Nfor. My people of Ambazonia. These are the same folks who came screaming, crying at the top of their voices. But they have become uncomfortable with one thing. Seriously uncomfortable with one thing. At the beginning, they have been making a lot of noise that they had worked so hard and convinced the people of Nkambe not to be involved in our liberation movement. That they had done everything and made Nkambe a safe haven in Ambazonia. And at the beginning, they were getting some stipends from government that were congratulating them that they were doing a good job. But somewhere along the line, they felt that they had spent a lot of their own money and they have not had enough reward. They felt that they also needed to get some of those big positions they have been eyeing. Everybody wants to be minister in Mr. Paul Biya's government, of course. Because if Atanga Ponji, a Form 3 leaver, could be minister in Mr. Paul Biya's regime, and there was others, people like Kecha Kutes, no one knows if she even has a baccalaureate. They are all ministers. Why should Musa Nfor and another nincompoop of the nature of conman Gerald Ngala not think that they too deserve to become ministers? Of course, Musa Nfor is a teacher. Take note, a very intelligent man, Musa Nfor. You can't take that from him. Oh yes, he was a teacher. His classmates say he was a very intelligent fellow. And so the community expected this intelligence to be used to change the dynamics for the benefit of the community. But that intelligence was used to do fraud after fraud after fraud after fraud in Campul, to the point where he now sold over Campul altogether to La République du Cameroun. If anyone can imagine the fight that La République du Cameroon put up to take control of Kamku in the 90s, when places were hot, you will understand where I'm coming from. And their concern had always been to make sure they impoverish the people of the southern Cameroons so that we never ever have the means to finance our own liberation movements. Here we are today. Because of our huge diasporan legion, we have taken them by surprise and we are taking them by storm. Why they think they've got the final word from us? No, we are not there. The only way it ends will be when they all leave our territory and we get freedom. I just like us to revisit, the events of that day and the kind of emotions it evoked in us. These images evoked sadness in a lot of us, drew tears from too many eyes. Nobody could imagine it. Nobody could imagine it. Because our self-defense volunteers never ever, for no reason in the world, will place such devices in an area where mainly civilians will be. They have always targeted the dogs from La République du Cameroun. That has been their approach throughout, from the moment they started making use of improvised explosive devices. The target has always been soldiers of La République du Cameroun. They have avoided any place where you will have the civilian population in good numbers. Anytime you find anything happening targeting the civilian population, don't doubt who has done it. Don't ask questions. How did it happen? Look at this. When it happened in Kumba, in a school, they started by saying Ambazonia. Today, they themselves cannot complete their own investigations because it is clear and glaring. They did it to try and tack it on the Southern Cameroon's self-defense volunteers. It never worked. They went to a Kondotiti, killed school children and a teacher. And Nkambe, who was operating with them at the time, has not been shy in saying that operation, he knows the details, was conducted by La République du Cameroun. That's why the other day, someone reached out to me and was like, I've seen a picture indicating that Nkambe is in the United Kingdom. Is this? I said, oh, wow, that's interesting. That must be good news. I've been in touch with the people who worked out the whole thing to get Nkambe out in the United Kingdom. I said, you're happy? I said, of course I should be happy. I am happy. Because Nkambe knows too much. That is why La République du Cameroun wanted to kill him right there. Nkambe was able to leave La République du Cameroun back to Nigeria with the collaboration of people in this struggle. The same people who today have been able to exfiltrate him to the United Kingdom for greater safety. Because the fear La République has had is that he is in good time, maybe, and it is my prayer, going to detail to the instances in the world that need to know exactly how these evil crimes are cooked and executed in CPDM meetings in La République du Cameroun and by so-called elite who are parachiks, relays of Mr. Paul Biya's genocidal system on our land. This story continues, and while it's going, I like us to have this Ngala Gerald here. Because it says, sources within Nkambe informed Mimi Nfor that the mayor's bodyguard Marvin is on the run. Danfo Jude has disappeared from the town. And they say an audio recording obtained by Mimimefo Info captures a relative warning Kabiru against returning to Nkambe as he is marked for arrest by the company commander. And they say the audio is, they quote the voice in the audio as saying, Kabiru, you've been targeted for arrest by the company commander. Stay where you are because coming here will lead to your arrest. So you see, folks, this has set the whole place in total confusion. Why in total confusion? Because the people had been fooled over time to imagine that Ngala Gerald and Musa Nfor were their saviors. I had warned several times that for the CPDM hoodlums, only one thing matters: money and more power. They will use you, they will kill you, they will do anything on you just to get that money, just to get that power. Let's go back to the event.
An explosion has occurred in the grandstand. An explosion has occurred in the grandstand. It's horrible here in Nkambe, Donga Mantung. Nkambe, at the grandstand of Nkambe. Explosion. Horrible explosion that occurred here. We don't know whose knife. We don't know the knife that have gone. The scene. The point where the explosion occurred.
So I'm taking us back so that it should refresh our memories of what exactly happened on that day. The purpose: to get more money from the government of La République du Cameroon. The purpose: to tell Mr. Pobe, you see, we are working very hard. I'm going to get the video of Mr. Ngala Gerald after the explosion, swearing hell on Amazonia, when he knew that he was at the origin of it all. My people of Amazonia, La République du Cameroon has always represented that kind of state, that kind of rogue state that is not shy in going to any extent to attain their objective. That is why when I read a document here recently, Stratégie de conservation du pouvoir, they said in that document regarding the situation in the southern Cameroons that the number of deaths does not matter. It was clearly underlined. And they said they could kill and kill as they care because France has got their back. And France will protect them in every instance in the world. Of course, with their veto power at the United Nations Security Council, with their representatives at all international fora. And the last time I talked here, I talked about a lady who was representing France, and I'll bring that video here again sometime soon, where she stood and was swearing that we, the people of the Southern Cameroons, were killing ourselves and wanting to attract sympathy from the international community, whereas it is La République du Cameroon that is a victim and not us. That is what the Betty Bulu Ekan people meant in that document when they said the number of deaths does not matter, that they are ready to do anything and they will do anything because they have the backing of France. France has got their back and will continue to spray perfume on their excrement. And La République du Cameroon assures itself more because they know that in our midst, they have this kind of people, these ones. That in our midst, they have this kind of people. That in our midst, they have people who are ready to slaughter their own people. The same people Musa Nfor stands moving around Nkambe and telling them, I'm your mayor, I'm fighting for you. Musa Nfor. No remorse. No. All that matters is power. For Musa Nfor, for Ngala Gerald, I'm not surprised. Musa Nfor, what he did with Kamkul to date He continues to torture the text of Kamkul. Now he's president for life of Kamkul. The people of Amazonia who are members of the organs of Kamkul, I don't know what they have been waiting for. To arise and take back our darling institution from the hands of someone like Musa Nfor, who is an instrument in the hands of the enemy to run us down. He has finished Union Bank of Cameroon, giving huge loans to Betty people in exchange for their protection for him to remain president of the board of directors of Cameroon. Huge unbacked loans. That is why every day they will call members of the credit union, because the credit union is the owner. The credit union system is the owner of Union Bank of Cameroon. Every now and then is recapitalization. Every now and then is recapitalization. Every now and then is recapitalization. No credit union has ever taken any dividend. And if the credit unions own, credit unions are not inanimate objects. They're owned by the members of the various credit unions. Not a single member of any credit union has ever received any dividend, being proceeds coming out from business done with their money in Union Bank of Cameroon, thanks to Musa Nfor. This one. This Musa Nfor you see on my screen. My people of Donga Mantung, my people of Nkambe, these are the faces of evil that unfortunately, in working with Atanga Ponji and the others, have deceived you successfully over the years that they were standing for you. Now you know who is after you. I hope it will make some sense to you next time we tell you, don't carry your lives out there, because the same people coming to give you money and deceive you and mobilize you to go out there for them, they are the same people who are coming for your life. I had played this video and you thought it was a joke. This is it. This is how you throw corn and lure the cock, the hen, to come eat so that you should capture it and slaughter it for your meal. This is what happened. In which country, which well-meaning country in the world will this be tolerated? The individual will be apprehended and questions will be asked as to the source of the money. Of course, the huge sums that were doled out were actually meant to carry out the evil that we all saw unleashed, the carnage that we all saw unleashed on our people. Before this, these same individuals helped the army of La République du Cameroun to unleash pain on our people in Gabon. Musa Nfor, Ngala, Gerald, they all knew what happened in Gabon. Don't think that you have seen the last of them. Don't get carried away by claims that the Gendarmerie of La République du Cameroun is investigating, because it's going to die a natural death. Now that it is apparent that they carried out this thing themselves, that was carried out in the interest of La République du Cameroun, those investigations will die a natural death. But as Ambazonians, we will not let it die. We should not let it die. We must not let this story die. We must tweet the pictures of these fellows to the rest of the world. Tweet and tweet and tweet until we can tweet no more. Let the world know that these are the faces of the ongoing genocidal campaign by La République du Cameroun in Ambazonia. I say, let the rest of the world know. Let the whole wide world know. These are the faces of genocide residing in our midst. They are not our people. They are not. They pretend to be with us. They are not with us. That's why I want to use the voice of this young man to call them out. Although he himself, I learned, turned around and caught out. Watch.
Very good report card from nursery school to university, but jobless. Where am I heading to? So we want to tell Cameroonians, gather those report cards and bring. Professor, will give him. Go and give your President Paul Biya. Either we have good report cards with job, or we take your report cards back and allow us jobless and know that we have no way to go. But God created this nation, gave us life, but wickedness has placed us under darkness. Okay. And that's why deliverance will even start here with people like Prof. Okay. So stop defending evil.
Okay. So, evil. Everything about that system is evil. Evil. This is why Mimimefo continues here, or the article says, another source informed Mimimefo Info that Nkambe is in turmoil and heads will roll, oh no, forget. And he says, meanwhile, a security insider disclosed to Mimimefo Info that investigations and court tracing point to the aforementioned individuals led by Marvin Aloma as the masterminds behind the February 11th bomb in Nkambe, the bomb blast. I'm reading a citation. It says, those whose businesses were targeted by the bomb received warning via phone calls not to open their establishments on the day of the incident. The security sources told them. So, my people, I did not just see an article by Mimimefo Info and then I jumped into social media to begin talking about this. No. I had to make calls. And of course, I actually ended up on top-ranking security officials in Nkambe who confirmed the details in the story and gave me even more. From all indications, they even have audio communications involving Gerald Ngala, Musa Nfor, and their operatives in the so-called vigilante groups on the eve of that February 11th or February 10th, and even early on that February 11th. But the question even the security operative asked me is, what will it result to? How far will they go? And the security source lamented that nothing will be done. Why? Because at the end of the day, it is what he called clean data. That's what it is. The same security operative said that is exactly what happened in Gabu, just like I said a while ago. Anytime you hear about any mass attempt to slaughter civilians in Amazonia, don't go far. That's the same thing they did in Egbeko, in Manu County. That's what they did in Egbeko. My people of Amazonia, I use this opportunity to continue to remind you that these evil souls that come from their hideouts in the Republic of Cameroon every now and then to tell you, go out and march to attend this event, go out to register for elections, go out to do this or that. It is not because they like you. A lot of the times, they will be the same person who will turn around and slaughter you and claim that they are our boys, claim that they are self-defense volunteers. I've always said here, my focus is the safety of the civilian population. But if you decide to make yourself bananas, expect monkeys to eat you. You become food. I'm saying this because May 20th is approaching. Right now, as I'm talking to you, they're already fine-tuning plans. They're already identifying the next place where they will carry their mass murder machinery to. They're already working on that. As I'm talking to you, they're already fine-tuning their plans on how to come and deceive you, go out there en masse. They will come and hide in conference rooms in Ayaba. Go and hide in improvised dormitories in UNVDA. go and hide in conference rooms upstation and tell you, go out there and register en masse on election that should not and will not take place in Amazonia. They will plant explosives in some of the LACAM offices to target you. You know why? Because we have warned you not to go there. They will do it, and their understanding is that when it happens, it will be easy to believe that we did it. Nobody in our liberation movement is interested in harming a civilian. The ones that happen to do those things are misguided, and they are few. They are not many. And take note, unfortunately, we have people in this liberation movement who are so thirsty for notoriety, who are so anxious to be called by major international news organs to go out there and get interviews as I'm the leader. They always jump up to claim responsibility, even for things they know pertinently that they never carried out, because they should not carry out such acts on the civilian population. But because of the quest for power and vainglory, we hear some of those things and they set confusion in the minds of the international community. If you are involved in such an act, cease and desist. Because at the end of the day, you will become an unwilling participant in the genocide being carried out on our people. It is sad, but that is what it is. I'd like to end here, folks. I would like to thank each and every one of you who set aside time to be part of this important broadcast today. Of course, I will be back here before the week runs out for us to take a deeper look at some other events that are unfolding on the ground, and so we continue to share information. I always make sure there is an audio version for all these broadcasts, so each time you come across the audio version, please share and share and share as much as you can. Don't forget, the objective is to reach as many of our people as possible so they know the truth, because it's this truth that will set all of us free. To God and to Him alone be all the glory. Thank you.